Geez, I'm way down here. This one.
Hold on.
There we go. YouTube's so much
It looks so
nicer.
grainy today.
I know.
Hello, everybody.
Anybody there? Hello. Hello out there.
There's a lot going on in the youth world today, so we may be a little ghost town today.
Oh,
What are you doing?
type something in there.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Hey, Larry. Welcome, welcome. We'll get started in a few minutes. Let some other people tune in. Tune your uke.
Yeah, we just use C tuning. I'm using either high G, like got this fluke. Oops, that was out. I thought tuning is optional for a lot of the stuff that we do. For technique and practicing technique, you don't have to be in tune. It's a good idea, but not absolutely necessary. Jim Brady. Hello, Jim. Great commercial, Jim says.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. That was filmed by, wait till we post the outtakes.
Oh, my goodness.
The blooper reel.
My sister and her husband are videographers, so they helped us out with that commercial that ran during Sarah and Craig's Not So Many Uke Fest. That is running until, I think, 6 o'clock tonight, so you can hop over there. Don't leave us, though. Stay with us.
Their company, Amy and Jim. Amy's our daughter. Jim, the son-in-law. Abominable
Not
Productions.
our daughter.
My daughter. That's my other daughter.
I'm the second daughter.
Youngest daughter.
Oh, my goodness.
Fingerpicking. We'll do a little review. We'll get some more people on here. We're starting early. But I'm just going to fool around with C, G, A minor, F. Bailed out in the end for the mistakes. Just fooling around, just exploring, noodling. Lyle Ritz called it the fruit of the noodle. Just noodling around. Stuff will come out. My favorite noodles are like noodles. Take like my G and C. But I'll just do G and move it up and down. So I like to pinch. And then thumb, index, thumb, middle. Was that when does the upside down and back to front workshop begin? Now.
Yeah.
Hey, I thought we screened these people signing in. Where's the filter? Yeah, so just fool around. Pinch. Ron and Nancy Gibbs.
Welcome.
You're welcome. High G. High G. High G. Look at that. Good G. Now I'm going to use my low G. I like my low G. And I've adjusted my ukulele strap for high video shots. So you can see everything.
You
Usually
don't
it's not
normally
this high.
play
Not,
at that angle.
not up by your chin where you can just rest your chin there and just wait, take a little rest.
Has everybody been playing like quadruple the amount of time that you normally play since we're sheltered at home? I'm curious if you're finding more time for ukulele now.
You play your ukulele more, you'll eat less. So we'll do a review as we go along, as we start. So just alternating thumb. This is like week 3. Can't do this too much. Just 4-3. Now I do have 10 videos up on the website on the alternating thumb style for ukulele that recaps all the lessons up to, but doesn't include the pinch yet. I'm filming those. The filming part's actually pretty easy. You can bang it out in like a couple minutes, but then the editing, putting all the graphics, all that stuff.
Don't forget to look up at our
Yeah, there you
Facebook
go.
friends
There
too.
we do. Facebook friends. I'm looking at myself. Man, there's that filter on there again. The old man filter's on. Darn. I thought they changed that. They say you look heavier on TV. I wonder if that works for iPads and the computer. They didn't say nothing about looking older. All right. Now, so then we introduced the index finger and we just did string 2. Now, it's good to go through the PDF, the downloads on the website. All the videos are available. I sort of hit every combination showing it. That ensures that your fingers do the combination at least once. Because if they haven't done it once or twice in practice room, exploring these principles, they're not going to do it live. And you want to get it really comfortable. When you can talk, banter as you're doing this, you got it.
Practice slow.
Yep.
Slower than you think is
Yep.
slow.
Because playing fast is nothing more than slow, quicker. So if you can do slow, accurate, and under control, you got it. All right. So we introduced the index finger on one of the beats for a 4-beat pattern, on 2 of the beats for 6 different patterns, on 3 of the beats for 3 distinctly different patterns, and on every beat. So doing it on every beat is actually pretty easy. It's very symmetrical. It's like walking. We don't have to think about it. If I said when you walk out of the room after this, every 3 steps stop and start with the same foot. I mean, that'd be really be like the Ministry of Silly Walks from Monty Python. Then we introduced the, then we did the middle finger. We went back and replaced the index finger with the middle finger. And I just do a lot when I'm practicing or just exploring these things. I will do C, G, A minor, F, that progression, the 1, 5, 6, 4, or I'll do the old 50s progression, C, A minor, F, G, or G7, or even just sometimes just fool around with C. And also, you want to do this, I sort of trim I didn't trim them. If you want to keep your nails good and strong, you don't want to clip the nails of your plucking hand. You want to just file them. They'll get stronger. Then you always have to sort of buff them out. Jeans work good after you do that. Just do it across the jean. Yeah, they do.
They like file it?
Not file it, but buff them smooth. Because then you want to just experiment with where you're going to your nail shape to get a really good sound.
What length?
Yeah, they don't have to be very long. Just sticking a little tiny bit past your fingers, not much at all. The thumb is a little longer. Gotta remember to move slow on videos. Sorry. Now, so that was the index finger. And then we introduced the middle finger with the index finger by replacing the second occurrence of the index finger. So if we had the pattern where we did thumb, index, thumb, so it'd be like this: 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3. Bum, 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 bum. You can replace that second index finger with the middle on string 1. That string 1 sound is bugging me. My nail is not contoured properly. It's coming out too. All right. So then there's 6 patterns, so you can explore that, changing the second index and alternating. Just now, you can also start with the middle instead. That's later on chapters.
Did you start a load of laundry downstairs?
Yeah, I did start laundry.
If you hear a rocket ship taking off in the background,
we're from another planet, so we're on a home trip.
Their washer was in the flood over the summer, so it sounds like it sounds like a rocket ship taking off.
Yeah. So if our Wi-Fi drops out, we're probably passing the moon on the way back to our home planet. I have to contact them. Tell them we'll be late. I'm communicating with the aliens.
Oh my goodness.
So we're doing a video. We might be a little delayed for dinner. Dinner's around Mars. All right, now. So then we introduce the pinch. You can pinch any combination. You can even pinch 3 fingers. 2 fingers. Right? There's only there's just a very there's a finite set of possibilities. There's not very many, so I'll explore them all and do the progressions. You'll see I'm gonna pinch outside and then the inside. So right, you're just trying to discover cool things, good sound, put it into your vocabulary. All right, now we can move on to new stuff. Rhythmic variations. I brought a whole bunch of stuff home when I do it.
Can anybody hear
I might
the
have to
washer?
grab
I'm
it.
really curious.
No, you probably can't
So
hear
loud here.
it. When you point it out, they'll hear it. It's laundry. Rhythmic
Distracting. It's distracting.
You have to learn as a musician to
Ignore
everything
ambiance.
going on except for what's going on. I actually use it as part of lessons. I'll leave the door open to the lesson room and there's noise all around and students learn not to be distracted. Rhythmic variations.
That's really hard to see.
This is the handout.
Are we emailing this again?
Yeah, you can download it or we'll email it.
Is that available in the free basic and
No, it's not
free?
available for free, but we will email. Jeez. Whew, man, put in the wrong tongue this morning. Sorry. We'll email you.
Okay.
Yes, right now.
So again, if you would like the workshop
let us know.
handouts, comment.
Yeah, or if some of you, I know some people there are members of the site. The book is a free download. The videos are free to view now for April and May. I'll leave them up there for free. And then I'll probably just make them for members because they are a lot of work.
So he's referring to learningukulele.com.
Yeah, learningukulele.com.
He has a sale right now for the forever membership.
Yep.
It's usually $179. Now it's $149, and you get a free 1-hour online lesson with Kurt.
Yeah, the lesson could be anything. It could just be a session, talk story, anything you want. Your hour. We got noise going on here. So I'm going to show you some things here. So I use the rhythm ultimately, and when you go through this a bit, you'll be able to hear the sound and equate it back to the rhythms.
Someday we'll be fancy and we'll put it up on the screen on the
when
bottom,
you
but
get the
until we
high-tech
figure all that out.
But there you go is the 4/8 note pattern that we did. That would be like
Show them.
thumb, index, thumb, middle.
That's going to be hard to see. You'll get it.
Yeah.
You'll get the handout.
This is high tech. Right now, basically it will come down to this, is that you can skip any one of the down or up beats if you want. Now, the fingers that would be assigned to those positions will skip it also. So here's what I do to organize it myself, and it's my go-to patterns for these. I will have the core, thumb, index, thumb, middle, 4, 2, 3, 1. That's my go-to finger picking pattern if I'm not thinking of something else to do. So if I want to skip any of those, if you notice, the index is on beat 2, like 1, and it's on like 1, and it's on the end of 1, and it'll be on the end of 3. The middle will be on the end of 2, speaking about the beats, and then the end of 4. So if I skip any of those, if I skip the index, it loses its turn. It just goes to the middle. And you actually get a lot of those previous patterns that we already did. You can skip the thumb.
On the 1?
I'm doing 1 and 2, and I'll do the index then. 1 and 2 and either the middle or the index. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and bum 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 bum. Now this does drive home a bit of a point in that we had talked about music being melody, harmony, chords, and rhythm. So most of the patterns that we already did, if we subdivide the beat into 2 and we organize it with 2 beats at a time, there's sort of like 4 elements. 1 and 2 and, right? So that would be 1 rhythmic syllable. Bop, 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 bop. That could be the bop, 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 thumb index, thumb middle. Right? And then we had quarter notes, just like 1 beat, right, for the whole beat. Then we had a pattern that would be 1. It's sustained through the and of 1, and then we did 2 and. So it'd be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So that'd be a rhythmic syllable like this: 1 and 2 and, or 1 and 2 and. Right? So bum bum bum. So 1 syllable, bum 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 bum. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Quarter note in 2/8 now. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Then we had a pattern where we did a 1 and, bum, 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 1 and 2 and, 1 and 2 and, 1 and 2 and. Every time I play that on my low G, I hear the old NBC logo. Bum, bum, bum. So 1 and 2 and, 1 and 2 and, 1 and 2 and 1. So that makes for 3 rhythmic syllables. If we combine those into pairs, think of it like this, you know, it looks like rhythms too. We have 30, let's have it 18. Now, as a musician, you find
Did you
your
say half a 30?
36.
Oh, 36.
Yeah, it's 18,
I
right?
was like, I thought you said half a 30.
Yeah, musicians, we rarely have to count past 4, so we'll struggle on higher numbers. Now, so that's 18 possible pairs. Right?
This is a dumb question. Is it
That's
really
all right.
hard to do this in a group, finger picking with songs? Like,
Well, everybody's doing a different pattern.
right?
If you
can never have it.
you can, you have to assign, like, okay, we're going to do this pattern, the whole song. The A minor, A minor. I'll do that. So you can do it, but it's more like then you're like in a
You can
band or orchestra
you have to
situation.
be really precise.
Yeah, like that. Do it heavier, louder. You go to A minor, F. Right? So then you can have a separate part and stuff like that. But if everybody's doing their own finger picking pattern, ultimately it'll just sound like something's going on every beat.
Okay, Mal, you
Right.
do the. We'll all do it together.
Right? that's where you can orchestrate it. But if you're a company and say the whole group is strumming, F to G7, do that C, a little slower. 2, 3.
Just a quarter note.
Yeah,
B.
oh, you do
Or
down
am I
and
doing
up,
what you're doing?
down,
Okay.
up, down, up. No, hold on, I messed it up. I just did the cut time. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. I know what you were doing.
C, right? Cool. Right? Let's do C to G7.
Okay.
One measure each. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You said
Right.
G7, right?
Yeah, that's fine. G7 works. Anytime you're going from a G to a C, you can use G or G7, doesn't matter. Because they're both functioning harmonically the same. All right, so that worked. Now, a couple times I just sort of did like quarter notes, sort of slipped out of the alternating thumb style. But you can mix these techniques, mix it with strumming, right? Back to the rhythmic variations. So all the patterns we did so far, and including the 2 quarter notes, a couple of them, they ended up being like 18 pairs of rhythmic patterns. Well, there's 3 other rhythmic syllables when you subdivide the beat into 2. One of them is a dotted quarter note, which would be counted 1 and 2 and. So then we add the and of 2 for a note. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. I have some real good demo stuff. It's in my briefcase. So 1 and 2 and.
Did you even get that?
And where's it at? It's over in my other computer. I saw it today. I got these big flashcard things. They're pretty good. It's easier than showing it on the screen like that rhythmic pattern right there between my fingers. I have a big card that will show that and the count. And that becomes a rhythmic syllable that you can add to your vocabulary. So it'd be like this. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and open up.
Goodness, it's heavy.
That's the goal. I stopped at Fort Knox.
It's our spy case. Oh.
So, there we go. Ooh. All right, ready? Cool.
We're really like crammed in here.
Man, we took over our. We'll give you a little bird's eye view after we're done.
Oh yeah, we got a lot going on in this little room here. Oh, those are cool. Where did you get those?
That's Chuck's.
Chuck Anderson.
Yep, modern. We use modular phonetic rhythm.
Oh, here's my uke.
Okay.
My goodness.
All right. Here we go. I got them. A bunch of them. Okay, look at this. Ready? It's like grade school. Class. Johnny, get your finger out of your nose. No,
Oh my
it's
goodness.
grade school. Here's a rhythmic syllable. Different than the 3 that were in the basic patterns that we did. So this has a particular sound. It's like trying to learn a foreign language with created from symbols like Chinese or Korean or Japanese. Each one of those symbols means a particular word, right? We got so many devices going here. We got like a laptop, an iPad,
A
a
desktop phone,
computer
a
with
tablet.
no sound. Man. Now to count it. This here is an accurate way to reproduce this sound on your own at home. Just counting evenly. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and you play on the 1, let it ring through the 2, then you play on the and. So now if we're applying this to our finger picking patterns, you would play your thumb on the 1, then either. What's the consensus on that?
We're very distracted
Either.
today.
Yeah. Focus.
The Facebook is showing
Oh, look, squirrel.
the flashcard reverse, and
Oh,
YouTube
geez.
flips it for you.
Yeah, the dotted quarter note is first, and then the eighth note is last. So you would play your thumb on the 1, counting evenly 1 and 2. Then on the end of 2, play either your index or middle finger. Demo time. So I'm going to do the thumb and the index, string 4 and string 2. 1 and 2 and. Jim Brady, this should be like easy for you now, right? 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. Right, good. So I have the concept of that syllable. It's like a single syllable word. You have it upside down. It's a single syllable word. This is based on Chuck Anderson's modular phonetic rhythm, teaching rhythm phonetically just as we learn words when we're growing up as a language, the sound. Now, the count allows us to reproduce that sound on our own at home and not rely on somebody like me saying, no, it's this. Bum, 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 bum. I'm counting 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Right? So then we're going to add it with, I always add one of these rhythmic syllables. I'll put it with my 4/8 notes. 1 and 2. And you find that one in there, 4/8 notes.
You have the pack.
I do.
So he's quizzing me on my musical knowledge. Really know.
Kelly's my Vanna White today.
Am I wrong? Did I get it
No,
right?
you're right. You did it right.
I
Show
got
her
it
what you
right.
want. Nada. Right? You can see them like this sometimes too. It's a reversed one for Facebook people. But the count for that one is 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So I'll put these two together. Any order. It's like a 2-syllable word.
These are cool.
They are pretty cool. You can learn the rhythm. This is a system for learning rhythm that I use that is guaranteed, as they say in Nolans, success. Nobody does not have success with this system. 1 and 2. There's Melissa. The hug strap. So that's the 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. That should be like a real chord. You should have that down. Then 1 and 2 and 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 1 and 2 and.
Once you get that note down, it's hard to get anything else because you just want to keep going.
Yeah, anytime you try something new, especially in a practice session where you just microseconds previous to trying the new thing, you did something. Your fingers still think they want to do that. So you really have to sometimes tell them 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and bum, 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 1, 2 and. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So this is where I will, that last and, I always use my middle finger because it's on the and of 4. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 1.
A lot of numbers going
Yeah,
around.
there's a lot of numbers. They don't go past 4 though. So that's 4 rhythmic syllables. You combine them together, you get more than 18, less than 36. I'm not doing the math on that. But here's what you end up with. I'll just show you this. And this is in the handout. 36 possible rhythmic pairs. A little blurry. 36 possible rhythmic pairs out of only 6 syllables. All right? Now, these are rhythms for strumming, melodies, finger picking. Remember, rhythm is 1/3 of music. You put all that together, arranging it and organizing it, the melody, the harmony, and the rhythm. And rhythm is intertwined with melody. It has its own rhythm. And harmony, it has its own rhythm. All right, so now if you just skip things, you accidentally might encounter some of them, but you won't know it. So these are good to go through. This is like a final exam for
Yeah.
students. Sometimes they have to play through these pairs. Takes months. Start at 60 beats per minute. 60 beats is 60 beats and is that right? 60 beats a minute?
You need a calculator.
Yeah, darn. Too much math, sorry. We're musicians. Put the metronome at 60. Just once a second. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. I'll play that top line. I have this memorized so I can see through this whole stack of papers. Right? That's what it is. Then, for real variations, we can skip a thumb. If we tie any of those rhythmic syllables, the beginning of one syllable to the end of, if we tie the end of one of the syllables to the beginning of the next one, we have a tie, we call it. And we have those same 36 possible pairs. Again, for 72 rhythmic patterns, which equates to 72 possible strumming variations, 72 possible finger picking variations, all from just 6, memorizing the 6, and exploring or working on how they go together, not having to memorize 72 different combinations. You'll learn to recognize them. Like if I play this, everybody recognizes that, right, as one of the world famous strums done everywhere. That is a quarter note followed by 2 eighths, tied to a group of 4 eighths.
So there's technical terms
Yeah, there's a lot
instead
of
of down, down, up.
Yeah, well, the down, down, up does have a place when you're learning strumming, because remember, these are, I call them my idiot cousins. They can't see or hear a thing. You have to make that connection between your inner ear and mind and get your hands to execute what you want. So if I hear this sound like bum, 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 my hands don't hear it. They have to like, okay, how am I going to execute that on the ukulele? And especially when they downstroke, sounds different than the up, which is good. We want it. Now I played it, and I wasn't really thinking of exactly what I was going to play. I just randomly played one of those pairs, but I can identify what it was. I played a dotted quarter note tied to an eighth, tied to 4 eighths. So I did 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So the only reason that I'm perceived to be better than some other players sometimes is I've done all the work. That's all. That's all it is. It's work and exploring. So rhythmic variations, you will hit them on your own, just skipping a thumb, skipping a finger. And also I would make sure that don't stop if you don't do the exact pattern that you want. We're being interrupted here.
Yeah.
The princess is here. Kelly's gone now. I'm free to do what I want. Now, rhythm, okay? So let's see what's next here. Rhythmic variations. I would spend weeks and weeks on this. I have some students that just spend as long as you want on it. Remember, it's self-paced. There's no grades. There's just success. So there's just different rhythm. There's the 6 rhythmic syllables. So this page here, these 2 pages are nothing but those 6 syllables, the combinations. And if we throw in like a half note, which is 2 beats, and like some quarter notes, it adds up. It adds up, which is very good. Now, I have another chapter, more rhythmic variations. Well, you can do it harmonically. That's a big one. A little blur here.
Yeah, it is a little blur. So when you get the handouts, remember, these videos are still here, so you can always play back through with your handout.
Chances are there won't really be a big handout with the rhythmic thing. But there's the examples of how to do it and how to count it, what it looks like rhythmically, and also the tablature for which particular strings to do. It's all like training. It's like spring training. No sports now. Now, we've been totally doing things in 4/4. There is other time signatures that we could do this, apply this to.
There we go.
A time signature is that fractional looking number at the beginning of standard music notation. You have to get some fancy broadcasting hardware and software to like put this up on the screen like the news.
We're still in the
So that's a
Stone
time
Age here.
signature. The top number is the number of beats or pulses in the music. The beats are usually lined up with the pulses. And the bottom number is the type of note to receive a beat. So the bottom numbers will always be like a power of 2. There will not be any like odd numbers on the bottom. It either would be, it could be I think a 1, a 2. A 1 would be like a whole note. A 2 is a half note. There'll be no 3. There'll be a 4, a quarter note. There'll be an 8 as an 8th note, 16 as a 16th note. It lines up sort of with the notes. 32, 32nd notes. And now it doesn't say how fast it has to be or nothing. That's something totally irregardless of the time signature. So an easy one to do is just do it in 3/4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. And now I didn't alternate. I just stayed totally started on string 4 for the 1. Now you can alternate 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1, 2, and 3. Right? So that'd be 3/4 time. Now he introduce the other fingers. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now if I'm playing it with a song, I will just totally alternate. So one measure is going to start on the string 4, 1 and 2 and 3, and then when I switch, my thumb's going to start on string 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. Right? Now there, my thumb didn't switch. Because I have a tendency sometimes my thumb will follow my lowest finger on a string. So there I was going to G, and I did not play string 4 first, which was the next string in the cycle, but it followed my finger. So that's just some work I had to work on. So 3/4. Not a lot of songs in 3/4 time where the beats are even. There is jazz, there is waltzes and jazz waltzes, which we'll get to. So again, with the 3/4, just count it 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now there is some odd time signatures like 5/4, pretty rare. But if you encountered something in 5/4 that you had to play, it's a simple solution. You'd be able to nail it without ever having done it before. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and All right, just have to count to 5 or count to 4 and add another 1. 6/4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. It'll turn into a sound, but you really, because we're so used to playing in 4/4 that if we lose focus, lapse for a second, we'll slip into 4/4. All right. So the thumb and index pattern, it's just the same. We're just doing fewer beats. All right. Now that one I did 3/4. I do show all the combinations. It's a big reason why the book is maybe is 100 and some pages long. But I did the work, so you don't have to do the work.
Works.
Right? Shows it in the grid format where I
You have the
developed
strings
this
and the
grid
numbers.
format with the strings to play up above with the count, the finger designations, and then I also showed it as rhythm and music with tab for those people more inclined to the rhythm or the tab. But you need to count with the tab. If you didn't have any of the above things and you only looked at the tab, you would have no idea what the rhythm is, right? Tab typically doesn't show rhythms. They try to do it, but
It's a lot to put.
yeah, it doesn't really work out. So 3/4. Now, there's another style that's in 3/4. It's called a waltz. Now, waltz is a musical style that is in 3/4 and has a very particular bass note pattern with chords. We're usually a bass player, or you'll play a bass note on the one of each measure.
Oh, wait, hold on. That last example you were doing, were you doing the 4, 2, 3, 1 for all
Yeah.
those examples?
Yeah, I
The
just
5
mixed
and
them
the
up. Yep.
6s and
What I
the-
did, I just did the alternating thumb index, thumb middle, and my count changed. That's all. So watch. Here's an example. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now doing 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 now there on the 3 I always started on string 4, but now I'll alternate it. And here's a teaching trick. I'm going to slow down because I don't have confidence as I'll pull it off. So C, 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 it comes down to counting. You will know there's two. I can tell when a student is not counting. You can hear it. You can hear when people play out of time, right? That they're not counting or keeping track of the beats. And with students, I can do the rhetorical question and ask them, were you counting? Which, of course, I know they weren't because they weren't playing in time. But so count it. What you're doing is developing an internal time source to play in time. And you need an external time source to really develop that internal time source. Either counting evenly or putting on that dreaded metronome. If you play with the metronome a lot, it'll just become like a drummer with a very limited beat pattern, one beat. So now with the waltz, so it is a distinct pattern. Like on bass, they would do bass, chord, chord on the guitar. Bass player would be like 1, 2, 3. I'll do C. 1, 2, 3, G, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, bum, 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 bum. Right, so you hear that as the waltz, right? Mm. A lot of times you feel it as if it's in 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, if you have a low G and you're doing C to G, you can simulate. C is pretty much, this is middle C on the piano. This is technically the end of the left hand on the piano. And everything lower to the left of middle C is bass clef, technically bass notes. So this G or low G gives you a bass note. It does sound like a bass note. It's pretty much the upper limit of a bass note. C is not really much of a bass note. So if you have a high G, you sort of just simulate it. But to get that same pattern of like a chord. So I was doing it with plucking the bass note with my thumb and then strumming on beats 2 and 3. So if we're going to do finger picking it, you can also do this because remember you can pinch any string combination you want. So I'm going to do the C and I'm going to pluck the C with my thumb, just as we would with the alternating thumb, and then I'm going to pluck up with my index and middle finger on strings 1 and 2. Like it. You pluck all 3. Maybe I can switch it and go to a completely different style, like C.
Ooh, I'm not good with that.
Yeah,
that's awkward in the beginning.
Now, luckily on ukulele, we have one set of 4 strings. We only have 4 fingers in this hand, so it's pretty easy. Guitar, they have 15 sets of 4 strings. So if they were being really, really thorough, practicing like that kind of technique, they would do all 15 combinations, which nobody ever would do. But you would do the adjacent 4 strings, which is 3 sets on the guitar, and you would do 5 and 1, 2, 3 and 6 and 2, 3, 4. That'd probably give you a really thorough background of it.
My index finger doesn't like me on string 3.
Yep. So now,
Why? What am I doing here?
a lot of times with a waltz, the chords last a lot longer than one measure. So if I'm doing C, I'll alternate between boom. It's a sway. Escape.
It's crazy. Like how instantly you want to. If you hear a
this would be
waltz,
like a
you
strum,
just start
like-
swaying.
If you're strumming, you do like a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. You strum up, like thumb down. In fact, that's funny. If you're going to do a strumming workshop at 4, right?
4 o'clock.
And one of the strumming patterns we'll do will be a reggae ska. And if we do the waltz, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If I make it fast and don't make it even, it's the same technique we'll use with the reggae and ska. All right, so jazz waltz, nice and slow, strum. So it doesn't really have an alternating pattern other than if you do like a contemporary rock 3/4 where it's not a waltz, you do it 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3. You definitely have to count it because you'll slip into 4 easy without having a band with you. So the waltz,
You don't always have a
the
band.
alternating piece, we try to get the alternating piece. The band's in your head. You have to be careful though, because I have a bass player, a drummer, and other instruments in my head sometimes. And I have to
Then they
make
want to get paid.
No, I'll never pay them. But sometimes you have to be careful that you have to remember the audience doesn't hear the band in your head. Only you do. so you try to get the band to come out. I'll do the waltz. I did some real quick stuff in there for like the alternating thumb. I went into 2, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm messing that up. I have to practice that. All right, now jazz waltz, same pattern. So what's the difference between a jazz waltz and a waltz?
I don't know. What is it?
Let me phone a friend here. You just no. Difference is the
Anybody
syncopation of the and the jazz is usually pretty syncopated. It's definitely based on 3, but it will do a distinct pattern. It's a 2-bar pattern. Bar 2 of that pattern is the bass note chord, but the first part of the pattern is a 8th quarter. Let me sound like this: 1 and 2 and 1, 1 and 2 and 1. I take a song like My Favorite Things, E minor, like. That song. It's on my CD too. Oh, I should have one now for a commercial.
Do you have that written now on your membership thingy?
That is there. I do have on my CD all those songs I did. I had the arrangements. My melody,
Wow.
melody and chord arrangement is on my website. But they're all free. Those, so you can download those and try them.
For
Yeah,
the
like
basic,
this.
it's a basic
yeah.
subscription.
Yeah,
Give away too much stuff.
I know. But basically, this is stuff that this is known information that
So they
anybody.
don't have to buy your CD; they can just play it themselves.
Yeah, right. You'll sound just like me. Very good.
Cool.
right.
I'll do it tonight.
Some students have started to do some of these in lessons. So here's a jazz waltz. You know, raindrops and roses. So the basic pattern is ba-da, 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 da-do-do-do-do-do. 1 and 2 and it's hard to count quick. 1 and 2 and 1. Bum, bum, bum. It's in the book. There's not that many jazz waltz songs. I played just a couple.
We should start doing like all of my son's YouTube's channels. He watches little giveaways.
Yeah.
For your
12-8. 12-8.
away.
Oh, I didn't say that, did I? Yeah. 12-8. Then the bottom number is 8. So we dealt with 4 as the bottom number. Now we'll deal with 8. Now
Really blurry.
we're going to deal with 8 as if it's felt in 1 note. We're not going to deal with the strict sense of when we did this 12-8 strum last week, I think it was like a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. The problem is if you try to do the alternating thumb style with 12-8, it sounds like you're playing 3-4 just really fast. So what do I have here for 12-8 in those things? You can sort of do the alternating something, but you almost have to count it as 12-8 then. 1 and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. It doesn't really work, but it's in there. It's really tough because it's really for distinct styles, but I do show some examples. It'll be almost akin to banjo rolls, what would be coming next. So here's how I would approach that if I'm doing C. I would do 4, index middle, 10, T-I-M. So my thumb is alternating here, but I'm just doing index middle.
So you're doing
I'm doing here out too. So I'll do the 50s progression to C, A minor. So I'm doing 4. So the thumb's going to alternate, but then between each alternation, I'm doing 2 and 1, index middle. So,
oops.
So I'll do the numbers first. 4, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Thumb, index middle, 10. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Right?
What did you say? 4, 3, 2, 1?
4, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. 4,
whoops,
2,
no.
1, 3, 2, 1. As I'm saying that, I'm tapping my foot on the thumb only. Like 4, 2, 4, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1.
And how?
4 beats. If you were counting it in 12-8, like legit, it would be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But we don't do that. We count it on the thumb. So we're counting 4.
And when you write it, you just write it out like that, like the other?
Nope, I learned to read
Well,
music
no, if
on
I'm,
the notes. No?
if I'm putting it in the chat, I would just write
Yeah,
it
no,
out like
yeah.
that, right?
As numbers, yeah.
4, 2, 1, 3.
That's string numbers. 4, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Then you just repeat that pattern over and over. And you can start on 3 if you want. 3, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1. So a lot of times you'll divide your measures in half and just keep track of 2 beats and just repeat it or do a variation of that 2 beats. Works on high G. Variation could be 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2. That's hard to say. 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2.
Wow, that's a lot.
Just do it really slow. See, I slipped out of it, got into it, and just went off on something else. But it stayed in the 3-beat pattern. All right, so that's rhythmic variations. There's a lot there. In the book, it goes from page 57 to 79. So there's a lot just to cover in a short amount of time, an hour. Rhythmic variations. I forget what the book finishes with. Once you, as an author, once you sort of finish your book, that's like the organization of it, where with students, sometimes they won't get all of it, or they'll get even additional material that never made it in the book. You forget what's in the book, you have to go back and look at it. But it is pretty thorough. I had editors help me with this one, so grammar's pretty good. Glenn Haraboski helped me with the commas, the ands, the run-on sentences. I used Grammarly and some editors to help me this time. A lot of work, 100 and some pages.
But I found a mistake once.
But I'll find mistakes all the time in my books. Hopefully they're not musical. I found a couple in this where the graphic didn't line up to the text. It was just, the graphic got...
It's a lot to look over.
A lot. It's a big book. It confused my printer, which I print them out on my laser printer. So I had to break it in half, break the chapters in half. I used a brand new software, a publishing software, got rid of Adobe. And I did the whole book in one document, and it got corrupted. And I had to redo the book, salvaging what I could. And I broke it into individual chapters and had to organize it. But luckily, I've been doing the Macintosh for so long, and I was able to use their scripting automator program they have to combine everything together and spit out PDFs.
But
so there's a lot there. So any questions, just post them
but
here.
You can't figure out Facebook.
Facebook, yeah. Facebook, yeah. Not a big fan of Facebook, but that's okay.
They'll kick us off.
Okay. Very good. There's just so much to keep up with. I like Twitter because it's short and sweet.
Yeah. Any questions, anybody? For those of you still with us?
Here's my Pony Express. Now, I wrote this out one day. I performed this Pony Express as an original bluegrassy kind of song that I play. I always added stuff to it. So finally, I wrote it down, figuring that I really should write this down so I remember the organization of it. And if I want to play it with the band, they have to know when I'm going to do what.
Where you're headed.
Yeah, so I wrote it down. I thought it was going to be really hard to write down because I'll play it for you. I thought it'd be really hard to write down. I always play it this fast. But then I slowed it down and I got rid of the embellishments I did. Then I said to myself, I call myself self. What the heck? That's just a quarter, 2 ace, tied to. That's one of those patterns that's in the book. It's a rhythmic pattern. There's TJ. So I did that 3 times. So
you didn't have cookie jokes today.
So that was easy to write down 3 times, right? Then change though. So then I got the rhythm first. I identified the rhythm. Then it was really easy. It was easy to write the whole thing out. Then a second problem happened. I don't know where I put it. It's at the store somewhere. I figured I got to get this in the computer. So I think I took it to the office and I was going to put it into the notation program. Then it would only be lost in the computer, and you can find things easier on the computer than your house or your office. But plus, some people want to learn it.
I thought you put it in your book.
That's another song in there. In the back of the book is a Red River Valley.
Oh.
Don't come and see. Right, so
TJ came to say our ending tagline.
it is. We're all done.
Are you done?
There's
Are we
TJ.
Are we
We
done?
got like 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh.
Need a commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So say what?
This
Do
is
our
TJ.
Oh, it's finishing, isn't it?
We can say it and then he'll finish.
I'll give you background music. Do a commercial
ahead.
for the store.
A commercial for the store.
Funky Fred's.
Funky Fred's getting new Cook the Uke merch.
Do you
Cook
merch?
to you merch. Yeah, we're
Get it now.
one of the only music stores, I'm sure, ukulele music centric store. We have our own mascot, Kook the Uke.
And little ukulele keychains coming soon.
So this is akin to this strum. Whoops, I'll paste it. That's the down, down, up, miss, up, down, down, up. A little messy there. I bailed out. Have to practice that one.
Yeah, I
All right.
Trisha.
So we'll see you
Join
in
us at
an hour
4 o'clock.
for strums. And a lot of those rhythms, they apply directly to the strums also.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.
Yeah.
Slower.
Alright,
The
if you're like,
notification bell.
Hit the like
subscribe.
button.
hit that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, subscribe so you don't miss a video. Bye.
You have a ukulele tie-dye shirt on.
Yeah, go. There's
Bye.
some white on it because we're cooking.
Get some
Oh.
fresh $20 bills. Put them together in an envelope. Address it to
Bye.
visit learningukulele.com. Whoa.
Oh, yes.